Okay, we're going to design a postcard for Christine's Flowers. Now, a great place to do this is at Business Now. So we'll just find that on Google. That's right there, businessnow.ca. And we're going to go over to postcards. So right now there's just blank postcard templates there. We're going to design a 6x4 postcard. That's a good economical size and it's a very standard. So we're going to click on that. That downloaded something here, and there it is. We'll just open that. It comes up in InDesign, and it's already got our bleed setting and our safe margin setting in there, as described on the website in the instructions. So we don't need to actually set any of those things up because they're already there. Okay, so what we want to do, we had already done a business card for Christine's Flowers. So now we want to set a postcard up that keeps a similar look to it. We used this white flower here, so we'll put that in our document. Drop it in there, and on there we had put that in one of the corners. So when we talk about a bleed, it means that the image needs to go over the edge of where the finished card size goes, so there's a little bit to cut away. So we've put that flower over the edge a little bit there. And I'd like to actually see it a little bit bigger, but we want to be careful that we don't just enlarge things and then get a low resolution image, because that defeats all the purposes. So we're going to click on the links here, because that image is linked to this file. And in here we can actually see, when that item is selected, that the effective PPI, that stands for pixels per inch, is at 300. So that is actually an ideal size to use for printed items. So what happens when we enlarge this, and I'm going to do that by holding the Control and Shift key and grabbing a corner that keeps the scale and the proportions correct. But then when you look at your effective PPI here, it has now changed to 233. So we'd rather keep the flowers smaller at a higher quality so that we get a good print. So we're just going to undo that scaling that we just did. And we can do a fine card with that there. Another solution would be if you started with a higher resolution image, and then you could make it larger. But this will leave us a lot of room for our text on here. I'm just going to take that links window out of our way. So what we'd like to do is, in the business card, we had drawn a box or a bar along the top with the name Christine's Flowers in it. So we're going to do that here again. We've drawn a box. I'm just going to go inside, and that's going to allow me to type inside of that box. So Christine's Flowers. Okay, so I want that font to have a lot of impact, so I'm going to change it to a font called Impact. And then what's neat about using boxes to do your text in is you can actually change the text frame options on there. So we'd like the text to align in the center, and that's vertical. And then you can put preview on, then it does it all there already. And we'll just click OK on that. And then the rest for centering text there, that's just the normal text controls for centering it that way. Now to make this larger, we'll just select everything. And actually for the name, I like all caps. I don't like a lot of type in all caps overall, but for names and headings that often works very well. Now we want to make that larger. This is going to be really dominant. So let's try it at a 24 point. We can go bigger yet. Let's try 36. Okay, that's a good size. We'll want to increase the size of our box a little bit so the text isn't too close to the edge. So we'll put it there. Now this box right now has a black outline. I think we don't want an outline at all. So we'll draw up our swatches window. Now I usually work with shortcuts and I don't always know how to find things on the menu, but there it is. So we've selected what we're working on is the outline. We want to say none. And then we want to do a fill, and we want to make the fill of the box one of the dark colors in our image there. So we can actually take the eyedropper tool and choose the dark green there. I like that. And then we're going to make the name stand out. We'll just select that and make that the paper color. Okay, and we'll put that out of our way for now again. So that's going to stand out quite nicely there. Now I want a background color that's probably one of the light greens in the image. So I'm going to just draw a background box. And then again, I don't actually want an outline on that box, but then I want to do the fill with possibly a light green from there somewhere. So I need to have this not be over top of the image if I want to grab a color from there. And we'll just select the eyedropper tool and click on there. Okay, so we can use that as our background color. Of course, we'll drag that, and notice we're dragging it all the way to the bleed line, not the actual card line. So that gives us a bleed over the edge. Now we just need to arrange this and send it to the back, and now our other objects are in front of it. Now this box here also needs to then bleed off the edge. But then it won't keep, if I just enlarge it to the corners there, it won't keep the text centered where I want it. So I'm just going to undo that, and I'm going to instead copy that box and just paste an extra one. And then I'm just going to remove all the text out of it and take it and put it right to our bleed line there, and then also to align exactly where our other box is at the bottom. And then I just need to arrange that, bring that backwards until our other box appears over top of it right there. Now if you want a better look of what your actual card area is, you can just go in here and go to preview. And then that's more of what our actual final card is supposed to look like. Now, just so we can save ourselves some typing, I created a text file earlier with some of the stuff that I wanted to put on there. So these are all the things that Christine's Flowers do. So I'm just going to take those and copy those, and I'll just go to my text tool here and just create a new text box like that, and edit and paste. Now what the font we used for the normal stuff in the cards, business cards for Christine's Flowers, was Trebuchet. So we'll just try to keep the same look. We'll start with regular there, and then we have that text in. We'll be doing some arranging and fitting for how we want things to look with that after. So for right now, the other thing I wanted to add was the just a second line, so we'll just copy that again, and we'll create a separate text box for that, and paste that. And again, we're going to change it to trebuchet, and this time I want it in italics. And I think I'd like that right aligned. So we want to put that about there. We'll want that a little larger yet. So instead of hitting the point sizes on all of these things, I will start using shortcuts, and to go larger you just hit Shift Control and then the greater than key until you have a size that you like. And somehow I'm seeing black outlines on that box, so we need to make sure that we do not have a black outline on there. We want no outline on that. Okay, that's better. Okay, now I want to make the name, without actually making it larger, I want the name Christine's Flowers to take up a bit more width. So we can do that by separating the spacing between letters some more. We can do that there, just click, and I want that to line up with the fresh flowers every day on the right. So we've got that. Okay, now other information that we wanted in there is the contact information. How is she going to get any business without that? So that was the contact information from the business cards. We'll just copy and paste that in there. And again, we will change that to trebuchet. Okay. So these items that she does here, I think would go well in a bulleted list. And there is an option right there to do that. And we've got a fair bit of space, so I'm going to go Shift Control greater than to make it a little larger. But when you see that plus sign, it means your text has exceeded the limits of your text box. So we possibly went a little larger than we should for what we're fitting here. So I'm going to go back in, select everything, and go a little bit smaller. And we'll put all of this in there. Okay, now since this isn't a business cards, we don't want Christine's exact email address. We'll just do the company regular email address and change that to info@thisismycompany.ca. Now this is not a very fancy design. The intent here is just to show you how you can do this. But you got to remember, it looks like we're using a fairly dark background, and black text may not show up on it all that well. So we're going to select all of that and go back to our swatches and just make all of our text white there. So that should actually show up well. Okay, so we've got a basic postcard created for Christine's Flowers. So let's save this. We'll go save as, save it in our project material folder, and call this Christine's Flowers Postcard. Okay, so that's all done, but it's not ready to send for printing yet. There's one more step that we need to take for that, and that is to create a print-ready PDF file. And to do that, we go to Export, and we need to choose Adobe PDF Print, And that is going, you always want to make sure you know where your material is going so you can find it later. So it is going to our project material, which is where we want it. And it's called Christine's Flowers Postcard. So that's starting on that. So we'll go save. Then we're going to get some options. And what you want to choose is high quality print. Then you want to go to marks and bleeds. And since this document has had bleeds set up, we can just use document bleeds. So that changes it. The bleeds were set to 0.125 inches, and that's 1/8 of an inch. So we've changed it to that. You can see that high quality print has is now been modified, but the only thing that's been added is that it will add the bleeds to our document. So then we're ready to export that. And there is our final file. Now you can see when we look at the size that this is now 6.25 by 4.25 inches. And our final postcard will be 6 by 4 inches. So what that means is 1/8 of an inch will be cut away all around this postcard. And that postcard, for a one-sided postcard, is now ready to send for printing. So then we can just close that and go back to our website. You can place the order with the add to cart, etc. And then go to the file upload page. It comes up with this dialog here. And we have our file in our projects file. So we need Christine's Flowers Postcard.pdf is the file to send. So we can actually just drag and drop that in there and fill in the basic information and click send. Then your order is placed. Thank you for listening. I hope that this has been helpful. Please let us know.